Hey YouTube, this is Vekananas and welcome to my Gekko Lotus guide. Hope you enjoy. Starting this off this time, I'm gonna be talking about the map first because it's a little different, and then we're gonna go over how I play Gekko on Lotus. So, first thing I want to mention is the fact that Lotus has 3 sides, which means if you're gonna play like normal maps, you're gonna struggle a lot on defense because you're gonna play 2-1-2, ideally. Like this is best case scenario as defender, which is not good for you because you want to defend the side as 3 when they're pushing into you, unless you have like super strong setups as sentinels and controller combined, or you want to set up some traps. But just the general idea is that as defender you contest space early on. So for example, you take A main, you take C main, and on attack you can then react, which is very good for Gekko because you have rechargeable utility, it's very fast. So for example, you're gonna be starting on A a lot, fighting for this area, you get your utility back, the enemy is gonna react, they're gonna go C, and you can just take your util and then retake together and try to get picks on defense. So that's generally the idea you're gonna be playing around, so that's basically the start. Now, how you're gonna start as Gekko is basically, you're gonna start either on C and do a trap with the flash, that's how I play. And when you fight for attack, you're gonna do a molly here, I'll show you the lineup in a bit. And you also have the flash to fight with. You're normally gonna combine this with the utility of your teammates, but this is just the basic stuff you're gonna be doing. So that was mostly defense, but when it comes to attack, you have very different options as how to play. You can do a flash that bounces from here, it's easier to capture. You can do a deeper one if you already know that you're gonna fully commit to the space and you know that you can take it back. And it's the same idea for A. If you start here, you just throw your flash, you throw your molly if they dash into it. And if you already took C and you know that enemy took A, if you want to go back and retake it, you're gonna use the flash here or on the right side, whichever is better for you. But normally the way I retake long, it would be just flash here, you send the wingman on the other side, you can pick them back up again, and you just get a lot of space that way. The way you're gonna see me play a lot, in Radiant especially, is the way to get space and then chill. I'm not really gonna execute a lot unless I have the ultimate, which then you can send on site, whether you go like this, or you can do it on A and just send it into backside, into 3, whichever you want to do. But without ultimates, it's very hard to execute unless you have other initiators that are good at executes. But just in general, stick to the idea of taking space and waiting for the enemy to be too aggressive when you attack, because people are gonna be aggressive on Lotus, because like I explained earlier, you need space on Lotus. So the idea is take space, retake space on other end, because you always have utility if you throw it properly, and you can just pick it back and then use it again. So that's basically the whole idea on how to play Gekko on Lotus. Now let's get into it. So like in every other guide, I'm just gonna go from entrance to entrance, starting on defense and then move to attack. Starting in A main, you have these 2 lineups. First one is for molly. You basically put the edge of this HUD of the ultimate into the corner here, and you line yourself up with the barrier, I think it's around here, and you just throw. It's gonna land on a Rubble basically perfectly, except for this corner, which is gonna be an easy duel for your dashing duelist to win anyway. And the other one is you just throw a flash, aiming anywhere in this area, and it basically gets everything in main. If you wanna do a faster one, you can just run throw. It's gonna be the same effect. The problem with that is it lands further, so it's not as safe to pick up. If enemies do end up fighting and you just do a molly, you're not gonna have the time to do both. So for example, you cannot just do this and then this, because it takes too much time. But normally you can just follow up the molly, like after you throw it, you run up close, and if enemies are fighting, you just toss it high, because it's gonna be harder to break. Just send the wingman in this general direction, and it's gonna stun people in main. Obviously, talk to your smoker, put the smoke there, and this area should be free as well. This one was naded, this one is stunned and flashed, you get it. And then you just pick your stuff back up, you're ready to go rounds 2. And that's basically how you fight for A main. Moving on to B, there's not really many setups. You normally play retake B. The way I prefer to retake is, well, going from A. You go through secret, you have this hole to play through. You either push your wingman through and flash above at the same time, or you can send your wingman onto the spike wherever it may be planted. Whichever you decide in the moment, that's really gonna come through playtime. But keep in mind, this is here, okay? This exists. This is super good for your flash, because the enemies don't really need to look at your flash to get flashed. It's not like other initiators, so it just, as long as it gets them, you know, it's pretty bonkers. And that's basically the whole idea on playing B. Like, you don't really start here, there's not really many setups you can do here. It's a very narrow space. You might want to take it with your wingman, but again, this is not great because he just runs off and it's super hard to take him back. So try to focus on using your utility the way that you can pick it back up. And if you're gonna be doing that, trust me, you're gonna do fine. Gekko's pretty broken right now, so just, you know, play around this. do this combo a lot. It's broken because they either gotta shoot the wingman or the flash. Either one is gonna punish them, and while they're doing that, you can just shoot them. So just try to combo this as much as you can, and that's basically the setups you're gonna be running around it. So that's basically it for B. If you wanna retake it from C, you have the same idea here. Put the wingman out, flash high. That's basically the combo you do. Now moving on to C, let's assume your teammates are 3 on A, your Roman Blinds, your Ace Nades, your whoever else you have, your Bridge Stans across, your Sova Darts, and they just make a lot of pressure on A. You can talk to your Sentinel, let's say you have a Killjoy, he puts a turret in the corner here, it sees long. As soon as it sees someone, he gets ready to pick, you just stand in the corner here, aim directly in the air, as high as you can, and just jump throw. This is gonna go so high, it's gonna get every single person who see long. It's not really a lineup, you just gotta throw it like in this general area. And it just lands back on you, so you can just pick it back up. And your teammates should not commit to fights here, but he should do this, get a kill, and get out. You have to explain that to them, you have to be very vocal as you do this. People generally just swing and go for like 3 or 4 if they want to, because they're greedy. But yeah, the idea of this trap setup is just let your Sentinel get one, because people, you know, if you take aim in, they're probably gonna react on C, you can get a free pick, and then play off your Sentinel's utility. So the last thing you can do, fight for long. Let's say you hear the enemies, you just send your wingman in this direction, because as long as anybody's gonna be in this general area, it's still gonna go for them. So you just send your wingman, toss your flash high as he goes out or finds the target. It doesn't matter if it bounces like that, like you can even bounce it like this if you want. But just in general, I would recommend just throwing it as high as you can, because it's easier, you know, to get the enemies flashed, and it's harder for them to shoot, and they have to aim higher and then readjust back down. It's a lot of work. So just as long as you send them both out at the same time, this is gonna be a very strong combo for you. And also, like, try to pay attention to how they land, because if he lands here, it's a lot easier to pick him up than if he does here. So try to keep attention to this. That's basically it. That's basically defense for now. And let's go to attack. Since we ended on C, let's also begin on C on attack. The main thing you want to focus on is throwing this flash about here. Like, this is if you fight, you want to just toss it high. Pay attention so that it doesn't get stuck on these corners, it happens a lot. This is if you do the long one, you can also just do it deeper and do it like this. But even if it bounces, like just aiming in this general area, letting it bounce back, it's not a bad idea either. But I generally just like to commit where I throw my flash, because this is basically the same safety as this one. So either way, toss it somewhere in this area, try to pick it up. If enemies are contesting it, don't be afraid to use your wingman for stun. It's not only here for their plants, but yeah, that's basically the whole idea behind this. Once you get to the site, you try to plant here. This is very important. Pay attention. Plant here. If it's possible, just put it here. Somewhere in this area. It's gonna be hard to break from there, because it's a spam. And you can also see it from long. And it's very, very safe in comparison to other plants. You don't want to plant here unless you know that they will not kill it, because a lot of people just sit in the smoking city, ping this area, and just spam it on the wingman, because it's very predictable to how he plants. If you have the chance, maybe put it there, but the ideal plant would be here, because you can just still sit on long, and especially if you kill their smoker, you can still see it. You can still play post plant for long in the emergency scenarios. Use your molly, use your ult, whatever it is you gotta use. But that's basically the ideal plant, because it's safe. You can also pick wingman back up after, so try to stick to this plant, if it's possible. If not, you can just do a safe one here, or do it wherever, but that's the ideal one. That's basically it for C. So let's say you want to attack B. This isn't great, right? This isn't great. But let's say the enemies are not contesting it, you have an idea, okay, they have a turret here only, you break it, you get your 2 smokes down, and you know people are around A, right? They just fought for A, your Sentinel told you he was lurking. How you should fight for the link? You should go for this. Throw your wingman in, and just flash across. You have a free stun, you have a free flash, you have the free area. If you control this space, it's gonna be super, super annoying for the enemies to retake, and especially, like, you can just pick it back up, wait a couple seconds, they start retaking, you can just do the same, like, idea. Once you're retaking back, obviously do the wingman first, and then do the flash. But this is just super important area to control as Gekko. It's also super easy to take because of this hole. So pay attention to this, just throw it through. It's not really hard to hit, it's basically very hard to miss. You just throw it in there and it's just always gonna come through, because it also bounces weirdly. Well, don't do that, but yeah. And anyhow, as long as you throw it in there, it should just come out and it should be a very good flash. So that's basically the idea behind B. Your wingman should be planting there, because there it can be spammed, so anywhere around this wall it should be fine. And that's it for B. Just a general comment on attacking. If you don't have your ultimate, don't execute. If you do, I'll show you some pathing later on. And last but not least, attacking on A. So the first thing you want to do is either throw this flash, because you can pick it up behind Rubble, or you do this one if you're just hard committing. Even if they fight you, you just go for it. You have a stronger comp, you want to go, just throw a deep one. This is gonna, you try to scale out with it. As long as it's in the air, you just pick with it. And if anybody just comes in, they're just getting blinded all the way. So this flash is pretty good. Also, this one's not bad. It's basically the same idea, except it doesn't get as deep. And yeah, this one is safer to take though, so this is fine. Let's say you started on C and you want to come back to A to retake. Let's say you know somebody's around Rubble. You just do this wingman, you do the flash, or in the other opposite sequence, doesn't matter. Just as long as you send them both here. This one's still pretty safe to take back. You come to the other one, this one's pretty safe to take back. And that's basically just how you retake. There's not really specific lineups I have for this. You just throw it in the air and this should work. Like, it doesn't really matter how much you miss it, how you throw it. Just the general idea of it landing here, you should be fine. Just yeah, try to get into the good habits of throwing your utility so that you can pick it back up. It's very important on Gekko. Once you did get a lobby, you want to open the door, use your ultimate from here if you have it. Otherwise you just again use the wingman again, use the flash again. I don't know how this is in a game. This is absolutely broken. You just pick it up every second and just use it again. You can maybe molly Rubble, drop, and just contest the area. Just keep in mind, this is just pieces of utility you can use. If you still have your wingman, still have your flash, like this is how you can use them. You can use the wingman on the left, flash on the right, flash on the left, wingman on the right. There's just a million combos you can use. Just try to scale with it, come back after it, pick it back again, and then use it again. That's the idea. I'm gonna keep saying this. The way to play Gekko, throw utility and pick it back up. That's all I got for you. So now back to the pathing of the ultimate. This is the last thing I want to talk about. One is from here. You just go into the tree, let somebody open it for you, and you try to clear backside. This is for A. I can't show it solo because, well, the door. If you go to B, you insta-execute, you just ult from here normally because you have people around you. Don't forget to clear the box, clear the left, you go into a secret. If you control this, free. Very good, very nice. Because you're gonna probably have your smoke share, right? Unless you have a weird comp. And the last but not least, we're going to see, you are again fighting for the long, you do the flash, you do the wingman if you need it. And once you come close, you just go here. Start somewhere around this area where you ult. If you're going too deep, they might open door and get you killed because teammates will probably not tell you, hey, the door is open. And so yeah, just try to be behind this and to get some extra cover. So you just ult from here. You can even crouch. You're gonna stay crouching and just clear the left and go through backside and just clear it all like this. That's basically the idea behind using ultimate. When you have your ult, it's easy to execute. If you don't have your ult, please don't execute. Unless you have a great comp and they have a very bad one, try to stay away from executing unless your Sharky is ready. And that's it for my Gekko guide. I keep trying to say Sky. Thank you for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one. But before I go real quick, I'd like to thank all of my Patreons. Thank you guys for supporting me. You are absolutely amazing. If you want more of guides like this, and I'm making more very soon, please consider supporting me on Patreon. And thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.
Bye-bye.